Hello everyone. Today is the end of February 2025. Now, I have been doing some of the new concept for home audio since the early 2022, including the tube simulator, B+ voltage adjustment for warmer, richer sound, shape control knobs, soundstage shape control knobs, which I actually have done that back in 2002, 2003 with the model AG3000. I'm going to put the link on the video that what was the 4 knobs controlled on the AG3000 and what is shape control function. Now, also GUI knob and other things that I have done for the past year and a half. It's not common in home audio, but it's not uncommon in pro audio, on the recording side of pro audio. So we have been discussing how we're going to incorporate those features into our existing product. Whether we want to incorporate those features as an option for any of my preamps, it's getting a little bit complicated because it's rather not easy to educate the consumer if the concept is not common out there, and we don't have the marketing budget to educate the consumer, also known as brainwashing. Many companies just recycle the old stuff and call it new, put a new name on it, and just sell it as new, and 10 times the money as 10 years ago. So we don't have that budget. So I am thinking how we're going to demo or even introduce the actual feature into anybody's existing system. So one of the things that I have decided, I can start with the soundstage shape control. So I have built this standalone unit. It's called a SCK4 shape control knob 4 because it has 4 knobs, 2 per channel, that actually allows you to increase the width of the soundstage and the depth of the soundstage. Depends on how you how the music is, how the room is, especially when you have 2 speakers that has to be placed fairly close together. I have seen enough picture. There's 2 big speakers has a width of like 4 feet apart, 5 feet apart, sometimes 6 feet apart maximum, center to center, big, and the width of the 2 rack of component, and that just you can tell there's just no soundstage, no depth. But this will help. This will help get you some soundstage, especially then when you cannot pull your speaker away from your back wall. Then really, what's the point of buying really expensive big speaker? But I see a lot of people do that. But this will actually help electronically to give you the soundstage width and depth, and you cannot control the height per se, but by changing the width and depth, the height also affect by the change. So I am going to bring that camera onto this tripod and show you the close-up of this unit, and then how to hook it up, and then explain how to use the knob. And this is going to be long and whiny, because I'm intended to use this as a user guide manual type of video. Okay, so bear with me. I am moving the camera around. And I'm going to put down a little like that. Are we in focus? Yeah, we are in focus. I can see. You can see. Alright, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to turn this around first. Now, this unit can be hooked up to at the input of the preamp, or between the preamp and the power amp, or if you actually have a tape loop, you can actually hook this up to a tape loop, so you can actually turn it in and out of the signal path. Now, there are processor loop too, you can also use that. So that's many ways you can hook it up. It just depends on how your system is configured. That has balance and single-ended input, balance and single-ended outputs, left channel and right channel. and the outputs are both active at the same time, so you can actually drive two power amps, two component, two integrated amp, one via balance and one via single-ended. The single-ended input, you can use it both at the same time, but it will just mix them together because there is no way you select between the balance and single-ended. So in a normal situation, I would just use either single-ended or balance. Now on this side, it has two SPK pack connector, and these are actually going to connect to the SPK pack and the G series power supply. Neither one of the jacks are equal; they're the same. So this unit doesn't come with any power supply, but it can connect to any of the G series power supply. And currently we have 6 models of G series power supply to choose from for different performance. So you can hook up any of those power supply in via these 2 jacks, and the extra jacks can hook up to additional external capacitor pack or anything that compatible with SPK pack. Now I'm going to tell you a rather not common way to hook this up now. So in any of my preamp, the C310, C312, C318, and in the future there's a C316, they all have a jack called the SPK pack, just like this one. So for a add-on unit like this, it doesn't come with the power supply, but you can just get a cable for me or whatever to connect this SPK pack jack to one of the SPK pack jack on any of my preamp, and it will work. So you don't have to buy an additional power supply if you already have one of my preamp. Now there is a limit for the power supply of the preamp, of course, and you would have to check with the dealer and make sure that it doesn't overcurrent. But if your preamp only have the power supply driving only preamp, it would be okay. So that's another feature, and with that hookup, we are using a single power supply to drive 2 components. That eliminates or at least decrease a lot more chance of having any ground loop, because we are sharing the same common ground. So it will perform better without going into too much technical detail. It will perform better with a single common ground hookup. So that's the features for hooking up another piece of equipment that have SPK pack jack, and also in line of my saying of integrated separate system. That I'm also going to put the link into the description so you can see what the integrated separate system concept is. Now I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to give you some history about the knob. I'm going to pull back a little bit. The 4 knobs control I have started in about 2003 with a preamp model called AG3000. The AG3000 preamp has 4 knobs. That's exactly the same 4 type of knobs that in the AG3000, but I did not mark them as width and depth at that point. So the idea of having 4 knobs is if you increase the positive phase of the signal, you will actually get a deeper soundstage. If you increase the negative phase of the signal, you will increase the width. So back then, of course, I'm just building, and never bothered to actually promote and tell people what it is. And so the idea came and gone. But now, with YouTube, social media, I can actually tell you what it is without going to expensive threshold. So back to this one. So the reason I built this one because I want to have the easier access of this feature into any existing system. The only way to do it is actually building a standalone one, and building the features into any of my preamp can be difficult. I'm going to turn up the camera so you can see me. Now, why am I saying like including this feature into any of the preamp is difficult? Because what if you already have a preamp? You don't want to buy another preamp. So, and I understand that there are times that a piece of equipment have sentimental value, and I'm talking to several people that they attach to the preamp, traditional 2-channel preamp, that they don't want to let go, and I can understand too, because I have stuff like that in my collections. Even though that I'm not using it, I'm still attached to it, so I want to keep it. So this is perfect to add the features into the existing system, because you can hook up like before, single-ended balance in and out, and then you can use these 4 knobs to set your soundstage width and depth, and then use the volume control on your preamp as a master control. Once this 4 knob is set, it's usually stay. Now there are people that want to fiddle around all the time, like I do. There are music that sounds better with wider soundstage, there are music sounds better than deeper soundstage. So you might want to fiddle around once in a while to all the time, but that's your choice. But I'm giving you the choice instead of listening to what the mastering engineer tell you to listen. So another reason for this useful feature is there are physical limitation for people who can play speaker. That I have seen so many expensive system like $250,000 or maybe $350,000 or more. They put the big speaker right against the back wall, and then expensive equipment right between them. It's like the old days in the 70s. It's like old day 70s component system right up against the back wall. I'm sure they will sound good. I'm sure the tonal balance is very nice. I'm sure that they can play really loud and very impressive. Unless you just buy it and just like leave it like that, that's fine. But I do believe that there are people that do have limited space and limited option to play the speaker can actually benefit from this, because this will allow you to have electronic manipulations of the sound with this for the system that actually give you wider space. If your speaker is not that, you can't play the speaker physically wide apart, it will give you the space. Now, sometimes when the speaker plays in too far apart, you'll have hole in between, and when that happens, turn the depth knob up a little bit, turn the width knob down. You don't even have to move the speaker. That's the beauty of these 4 knobs. So let me go back to this one. There are 4 knobs. The outside two, there are 4 knobs on left and right from your point of view. The outside 2 are called the width knob. The inside 2 are called the depth knob. D-E-P-T-H, if I pronounce rather poorly, and then you heard the other depth knob. So I would start this at about 12 o'clock. Now I can only feel it, I'm not seeing it. So okay, so about 12 o'clock. When it is about 12 o'clock, this unit is approximately minus 3 dB down from unity, which is a comfortable zone to start with. You can always turn it up, you can always turn it down. But with minus 3 dB of unity, that means it's attenuate your system 3 dB down. And there are many DA converter and streamer nowadays, they have overpowering output, which I do that myself too, because it just the trends and fashion out there, and you have to have a high enough output of the DA converter output to drive the rest of the system. Now, but the problem is the traditional preamp and power amp that have set gain somewhere between 30 dB to 45 dB, and the combined gain between preamp power or integrated amp is around 30 dB to 45 dB. With that in mind, it is very loud when the volume control is at about 7 or 8 o'clock. So a little bit of attenuation is always help, and we actually make attenuator to actually to fix that problem. So why not put one of this in, attenuate a little bit, and also give you the benefit. So of course it costs more than an attenuator. So, but that's another part. So start with this 12 o'clock. And if you want your soundstage width to be wider, you turn the width knob up, you turn the depth knob down. So relatively, the width knob is higher level than the depth knob. Therefore, your width is going to go wider. So if you actually have hole in between the speaker, or you want the depth to go a little bit deeper, you turn the depth knobs up, you turn the width knobs down. Then you get a deeper soundstage, and the wide and the narrow soundstage and deeper soundstage. The relative amount of knob between them is up to you. It's your choice. You have to turn it yourself and to listen and to determine how deep the soundstage you want, how wide the soundstage do you want. I'm just showing you what to do to achieve towards that goal. How far you have to go to achieve your goal depends on your system. Now, there is another one I would like to tell you. This is a more advanced usage of this now. And let me turn back to 12 o'clock again. I am feeling the indicator, but I'm not seeing it. So pardon me if I don't turn all the knob to exact 12 o'clock. Assuming that's 12 o'clock now. Everything sounds right. So 12 o'clock is, you can use the 12 o'clock as a neutral position, meaning if you've gone too far one way or the other way, you don't know what to do, and it's late at night and you want the system sounds right when they come back up tomorrow, turn it back to 12 o'clock. Then you save. You just save. It's not, may not be the ideal situation, but you are safe. So you want to have a safe position to begin with. That's the 12 o'clock. Everything's 12 o'clock. So then you want to experiment something else. You want a soundstage move up a little bit sideways, okay, diagonal. Because your room is not symmetrical, you want to move it to your left a little bit more and back a little bit more. So what we do? What are we going to do? Okay, so leave your left, leave the right control alone. Turn the depth on the left channel up, and turn this width of the left channel up, but turn the depth a little bit more so it go deeper, not as wide. Now, if you want to go way deep and pull back a little bit, you turn down the width control on the left channel. Same thing here. Now, if you want a channel, let's say the right channel, much shallower but way wider, you turn up the width, you turn down the depth on the right channel. Now you basically get the soundstage as really wide this way, depth this way, not so wide on this way. Now everything is from your point of view. Then you can manipulate the soundstage by using that four knobs. If I'm starting to confuse you, again, remember, turn it back down to 12 o'clock and start from the beginning. That's the safe point you can start. And there are other ways that you can actually manipulate that four knob too, but it will be getting longer and longer. And I would like to keep this video as basic, and as time goes on, we will do more video, or at least I will do more video and tell you my experience. And I don't know I can actually do a video, music video, that actually show the knob change, because I would rather think that the mic is not that sensitive on picking up shape. Tonal balance probably okay, but soundstage shape, I'm still having trouble to actually pick up soundstage shape. And again, it also depends on your reproducing system, your system, whether you can actually hear the soundstage change or not. So this is another one that you actually have to hear it yourself in person. But I know it's difficult, but it is impossible right now to pass this information through the internet. So, but I can only tell you what these knobs are supposed to do. So you will have to confirm by hearing yourself. This particular unit, my first one, is going to Entracte Audio in Toronto next week, and this is his unit, so you can actually contact them to have a listen, have a demo, or borrow it home. You know, it's just so light, you can actually take it home. Now, it's not a warning, but it's a recommendation. It is, if you are comfortable with turning knob, I know musicians that play music does, because they listen to the instrument and turn knobs. Recording people do. They don't mind this. For recording engineer, this is basic, simple stuff. So I don't even want to mention them, because they will look at this as like, how much more basic can it be? So they would have no problem. So what I'm saying is, as long as you have comfortable to turn knobs and use your judgment on hearing, you will have no problem to use this unit. But if you are a first timer, you're not comfortable to turn knobs, and I do understand that there are a lot of audiophiles are not comfortable to turn knobs, even though that some of them claim they do. No, they don't. But I'm not going to ask you to admit it. And it's better to actually have a dealer to actually set it up for you. At least set it up for you and help you hearing the change. And then once you get comfortable with, then you qualify yourself to use it yourself. So nobody can qualify you to use it. You have to qualify yourself. So I'm hoping you have some patience. If you are not quite sure or kind of intimidated by these 4 knobs, keep open mind. Truly learn how to use it. I know George at Entracte Audio will have the patience to show you in his shop, to show you what the 4 knobs does, because he has been using my prototype to show what the 4 knobs does already, and this is the production unit. So he will have no problem to show you how to use it. And if you spend 30 minutes or even 10 minutes, as soon as you get the concept, you are fine. Most people have years. It's just whether you want to use it or not. It's your choice. So anyway, I'm going to close up this video because I know I'm getting long. I'm not looking at the clock, but I'm getting long. So this video is used as a quick guide of how to use the 4 knobs. But the ultimate way to use the 4 knobs is actually use it yourself. So until then, stay safe. Bye.